Hi, thanks for joining a new video. Today we're unboxing the Nubia Z80 Ultra. Let's begin. This device aims to be a photography reference like all Z series of Nubia. So let's go ahead and take it out of its box. In the case of Mexico, the most basic configuration has a price of 15,199 pesos. On the screen, you can see the reference price in dollars, just to give you an idea, but keep in mind that the prices shown here are not the same as those in Mexico. Same as the ones over there, the version with 1 terabyte of storage goes up to 21.99 pesos also there, you see on screen. The cost in dollars, just to get an idea. However, we will then take away the box to explore the device closely and understand its features and proposal. The reality is that its price is quite competitive, despite not having a very wide distribution. But let's take a closer look. Here is the device itself. Let's go ahead and remove it. This wrapper, I'll take it out and observe its design closely. There it is. Let me also remove the sticker for you. And now we're going to power this device on. While it's booting up, how about we explore the remaining contents of the box together? Which seems less basic than other cases. Not as thin, but let's see. Here's this large envelope, so I'm unsure if it's an envelope or a box, but okay. Here's the SIM card tray removal key. Next comes the cable, which is USB-C to USB-C. Definitely provides us with a more modern experience. Nowadays, not all devices come with this feature, so it is truly appreciated that it gives us this sense of modernity. Now, at last, we are going to discover... look at that. I can hardly believe it. The case is right here, but it doesn't include a charger. What a surprise indeed. Well, that's interesting. We hadn't noticed that behavior from Nubia before, but they no longer include a charger. Here comes this case, and as you can see, it has quite a bit of opacity, so it's not a transparent case we're talking about. Let me know how you prefer the device or how you would use it with the case or without it. The truth is that in this particular case, the case doesn't really detract much from the aesthetics, and it will indeed provide protection against falls, especially in the corners. As you can see, they come reinforced. Personally, I think I would choose to use it with the case on, but please let me know what your opinion is in the comments. The truth is that the design is actually quite appealing. Nubia has been through several generations with this raised rectangle to accommodate all the sensors and cameras, so don't think it's just a copy. Let's examine the current trend. Nubia has done this for generations. Let's focus on the device with everything we gathered. Well, we already have the device set up here, so let's take a moment to explore and understand its specifications in detail. Allow me to share them with you. In this particular instance, we observe that the device is 8.6 millimeters in thickness and it has a weight of 37 grams. The truth is that it is not an ultra-light device, nor does it seek to be an ultra-thin. It is in the normal for a high-end device, so it is perceived well. In this case, it comes with a mostly straight aesthetic. It is not so sharp corners, but it is not a device with corners as rounded as other cell phones. In this case, it also arrives with IP68 and 69, so it is fully waterproof. No need to be worrying too much about that. The screen is 6.85-inch OLED display. We're talking a resolution of 2680/88 x 1216 pixels and a refresh rate of 144 Hz, so everything will look exaggeratedly smooth across this screen. It has a maximum peak brightness of 2000 nits, although apparently it doesn't come with Gorilla Glass. We'll confirm that in the review. In this particular case, it is equipped with stereo sound featuring a speaker located at the bottom and an additional audio output through the headset for calls. However, it is important to note that the second speaker is rather weak. The truth is that it becomes apparent here that they have made some cutbacks. The budget to be able to adjust the price accordingly. As for the bottom speaker, if it sounds a bit louder, we wouldn't say it's of exceptional quality. By the way, on the left side, it includes this switch that by default allows us to change. In the sound mode, although within the settings, it provides us the option to select if we prefer to use this switch to quickly access the camera, as an example, or to access game space in red magic style, even for the flashlight, voice recorder, or just to switch between the different modes. The truth is interesting. I think I would use it for the flashlight because it is something that I use often, but I like it. You can actually open the camera and you'll observe that when you operate the camera using the switch, it transitions into a slightly altered interface. This change might seem subtle, but it's noticeable, which is expressed in terms of millimeters. Even the buttons have a different appearance. However, it's important to remember that it also includes a button on the right side. Holding this button down enables us to access the camera within this same interface. This feature allows us to enter the camera, offering a seamless experience. Furthermore, this button features an intermediate touch function that allows us to I think it's important to make sure we have the focus ready and then you finish pressing to take the picture in the purest style of a digital camera. And there is also an interesting proposal here. This button does not support gestures or anything like that. It is a physical 100% button that does feel very similar to what we see on cameras. The front camera is 16 megapixels and is still under the screen. The truth is that the decision to incorporate it below the screen, to me, I have not liked in past generations because we are talking about a cell phone that is dedicated to photography, and I understand that perhaps keep the viewfinder spotless. But the selfies aren't great, even with technology improvements. Take a moment to examine both the preview and the final result here. Honestly, when you first glance at the preview, it doesn't seem bad at all. However, when you see the actual result, it appears somewhat cloudy. I was hoping for something a bit better. However, in this instance, it's quite challenging due to the backlit photography. This is where you can tell that the camera beneath the screen isn't quite at the level we would prefer it to be. In settings where the backlight isn't as intense, you'll see that the selfies might be acceptable. But upon closer inspection, you'll notice that the details aren't very prominent. The fascinating aspect of this device is certainly located on the back. Here, we would discover an ultra-wide 50 megapixel camera featuring an aperture of f1.8 along with autofocus that supports macro photography. Following this, we have the main camera, which in this instance is 35mm. To simplify it, it offers more zoom than standard cameras, bringing subjects closer with an angle that is highly favored for urban photography. Therefore, this lens comes with an aperture of f1.7 and we discover optical stabilization. The sensor is 50 megapixels. Finally, at the bottom, there's a 64 megapixel telephoto camera with an f2.48. Aperture and optical stabilization plus an anti-flicker sensor and a laser for fast focus adjustment. Let's take a quick look at the photos captured with this device. We see the ultra-wide camera is 18mm, so it's not very wide. This ultra-wide camera also offers a 24mm perspective with a crop, matching what other phones offer. Next, we move to the 35mm view used by the main camera. These all look great in color, detail and contrast. Then, we shift to the 70mm telephoto camera integrated into this device. The truth is on zoom. Short and medium range are quite good. Zoom in and the quality remains good. At the long range zoom, I think it's going to be a little bit limited because the telephoto lens doesn't have such an incredible focal length. But watch. I think that the optimization performed by the software is exceptionally impressive. In this instance, with an estimated perspective at around 1050mm, I would say that this is already the maximum point where the quality remains acceptable. However, it still permits us to get even closer. To be precise, the zoom capability can reach up to 50x. However, in this context, keep in mind that the multiplication occurs on the main camera, which is 35mm. Therefore, 35 times 50 results in 1750mm. But when considering a focal length of 23 or 24mm, which is the typical range for cell phones, this would be equivalent to 72x of digital zoom for cell phones with cameras around 24 or 23mm approximately. In this case, we find the ability to record video up to K at 60 or 120 frames per second. And pay attention, because 120 frames per segundo is available with any of the three cameras in K, giving a demonstration of how important it is for Nubia video recording. It's pretty good in that regard. Also, you could also choose to record video in HDR for an enhanced dynamic range. However, it's important to note that the front camera does not support 4K recording. It's quite basic actually. I must emphasize that this manufacturer has really overlooked the front camera's capabilities. In this model, the battery's capacity is 7,200 mAh. It supports fast charging at 80 watts. However, the charger is not included in the standard package. I believe Nubia might be offering it as a gift with some promotions. If you want to fully utilize the charging power of this device, you will need the original charger as it features a turbo charging mode. We will conduct tests for our video review. At the moment, the battery appears to have a decent autonomy, and in terms of specifications, it looks quite impressive. Regarding the software, we have the Nebula iOS in its 16 version, which is based on Android 16. This is definitely a positive aspect, especially compared to other phones that are still being released with Android 15. Additionally, it includes some of Nubia's artificial intelligence features such as the wallpaper generator, also online simultaneous translation, and over here a sticker generator apparently. It really doesn't seem to be that sophisticated, but there it is. It has features like the sidebar, from which of course you can open some applications in a small floating mode. It also has artificial intelligence translation options for calls, which is something that not everyone integrates. And also over here functions to improve antenna connectivity and overall performance. And for performance, we already know that Nubia does not make any kind of sacrifice. It comes with 16 gigabytes of RAM, 512 gigabytes of storage on my version, and the Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 2. Trust me, that's a lot of power. For those who like numbers, here are the Geekbench results. 3,706 points on single core and 11,136 points on multi-core. In Antutu, it scored 3,799,000 points. It's incredibly powerful, basically the power. I've seen a Red Magic, but with much more advanced cameras on the back, although it obviously doesn't have the advanced cooling system that we see in Red Magic. Well, this was just an initial look at the device. Remember, the video review will be out later after we complete our usual tests. I hope you enjoyed this video. If so, let us know and see you next time.